Hi guys, I'm Lindsay Serrata with Sizzix, and today we're going to do a little tutorial on how to make this chevron necklace. And before we get started, let's go over tools and materials. Your first tool that you're going to want to use is a big shot machine. Now if you have a jewelry studio at home, you have all the platforms you need. If you have a big shot at home, you can buy the conversion bundle, which holds this movers and shapers shuttle, which is what you're going to need for your chevron necklace. So you want a movers and shapers shuttle and one cutting pad. The next thing you're going to want is your chevron necklace die set, and it comes with movers and shapers dies right here. These are steel rule dies. You're also going to want at least 2 colors of our cowhide leather. I've chosen metallic gold and metallic bronze right here. And to glue it, I always like to use Fiebing's Leathercraft cement. I have a little container to hold it in and a tiny brush. I also have chain, a hole punch, some wire cutters, and 2 pairs of pliers. And the last thing I'm going to want are some jump rings, and I have a total of 10 of them, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and they're about a 4mm size. I'm also going to want to cut later on some tiny links of chain, 4 sets of them. The first step is to cut our leather. Now I've already pre-cut 3 pieces, but we're going to cut these last 2. So I want to take bronze with this one, gold with this one, and I can do these both at once. So my movers and shapers shuttle shows us the sandwich we need. We're going to put this down. And it's actually magnetic, so when I stick these on there, it's not going to go anywhere. So I'm going to set those down, and whenever I cut some leather, I want the front face of my leather touching the blade. So I'm actually going to flip this upside down to cut it. Then I'm going to finish my Sizzix sandwich and run that through the machine. And one pass through is all it takes. So now I have, and guys, imagine what projects can you do with all of these negatives. It could be really fun, a really fun project. So now I have all the pieces I need, and we're gonna glue them together. So I have my Fiebing's cement glue, and I'm just gonna take all of my embellishment pieces, the bronze pieces, and glue the back, flip them over, and finish that process. While our glue is drying, let's focus on the chain. And what you're going to want are 4 tiny links of chain. I've organized this so that you can see what order these go in. And right here, 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 and here, we have tiny links of chain. Depending on the size of your chain, maybe you want 3 links, maybe you want 4. I cut them 4 links at a time because these are pretty small. And what I'm going to do next is cut my long piece of chain. I tend to like longer necklaces, but everybody is different and every body is different. So what I suggest is just wrapping it around your neck and saying, well, I want the chevron to start about right here. So I mark that and I'm just going to cut it. And I tend to cut them at 28 inches long. That's just for my body and how long I want them, but that's completely up to you. Now it's long enough that I can just throw it over my head and I don't need a lobster clasp. So what I'm going to do now is connect my top skinny chevron to my chain. And what I need to do first is punch holes in it. So I'm going to take my crocodile, I like to call it a crocodile, and I'm going to choose my small punch. And I want to punch the hole as close to the edge as I can without actually risking the leather ripping, risking the integrity of the leather. So I'm going to line that up, and I find it to be easier to punch the hole when the punch that's coming up here hits the front of my leather first. it cuts a really nice hole when I do that. No connected strands when I do that. So now I've cut 2 holes right there. So now I'm going to connect my jump rings to my chain and to this top chevron. And if you've never used jump rings, each one has a little slit, and sometimes they're hard to see, but there's a cut in the ring. So when I'm holding the ring, I want the cut at the very top center. It's right there. I'm going to take 1 pair of pliers on the side of it, and I've grabbed it right there. The cut is right at the end of the pliers. Now I'm going to take my other pair and do the same thing on the other side. I don't want to pull the jump ring apart like this because I'm never going to get it back together in the same shape. Instead, I want to twist it front and back. So one hand goes forward, one hand rotates back. So now that I have it open, I'm going to connect one end of my chain to my jump ring, and then also throw my chevron in there and close that back up. The same type of rotation that I did when I opened it, just the opposite, bringing it back in. So my left hand is now coming in where my right hand is now going out. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. And now we have our first chevron piece. Now what I want to do is attach each and every piece to the next. So as you can see, we already have the path here. I'm going to take these 2 jump rings and connect them to the same holes that I already made. Connect those to the tiny strands of chain, which are connected to these, connected to this, punch holes, just in the same path. And then what you end up with is this beautiful chevron necklace. It's very easy to make, very simple. Once you get how to use the jump rings, how to put it together, how to cut your chain, super easy to do. So I hope you enjoyed, and go have fun.